Dah,
Langsung mulai gak?
boleh.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. The Honorable Lecturer of the Seminar on English Language Teaching course, Professor Dr. Safrijal, and respected presenters and dear audience, it is a great pleasure to welcome you all today on today's seminar. And I'm Rifatuzar Kamila, and I will be your moderator for this session. I hope we can have a productive and insightful discussion together. And we're about to dive into a very interesting topic that blends technology and creativity. For today's presenter, which are Merdiana Nawangsih and Agnes Sihombing, a researcher who has explored how utilizing trace effect mechanics in digital games to foster listening proficiency. And this uh, During the presentation, feel free to take notes, and after the speaker finishes, we will open the Q&A session. So please hold your questions until then. Now, without further delay, let's welcome our presenters to begin the presentation. I will invite Merdiana Nawangsih to be the first speaker. For Merdi, please.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Today we will talk about utilizing trace effect mechanics in digital games to foster listening proficiency. Before we start, let me introduce our group. My name is Merdiana Nawangsih and my friend is Agnes Monica Sihombing. Next slide, please. The first is a background. In the field of English language teaching or ELT, listening proficiency is a crucial skill that enables learners to comprehend spoken language in various contexts. Be that as it may, numerous understudies confront challenges in creating tuning inabilities due to components such as need of introduction to authentic spoken English, constrained interaction with local speakers, and ineffectual conventional educating strategies. Trace effect mechanics allow to the cognitive and intuitive form included in taking after and reacting to sound-related prompts inside the game environment. For the formulation of the research, the first formulation is how can digital games be effectively utilized to improve listening proficiency among English language learners who face challenges with traditional methods. The second formulation is who are the English language learners that benefit most from the use of trace effect mechanics in digital games for listening skill development. Number three is what impacts do digital games usage of trace effect mechanics have on learners' motivation and involvement in enhancing their listening skill. Next slide, please. For the purpose of the research will be presented by Agnes.
Okay, thank you, Merdiana. So, the purpose of the research, our research is first, explore the effective utilization of digital games in improving listening proficiency among English language learners who struggle with traditional teaching methods. Second, identify the learners who benefit most from trace effect mechanics in digital games for listening skill development. And the third is investigate the impact of these mechanics on learners' motivation and involvement, enhancing their listening abilities. Next slide, please. Okay, so the
All right, the next is theoretical framework. The first is digital game-based learning, DGBL, in language acquisition. In digital games-based learning and language acquisition, there are the role of digital games in language learning. Research suggests that digital games create immersive and interactive environments where learners can practice listening skill in naturalistic setting. Uh, these environments mimic real-life communication situations, allowing learners to hear language in use rather than in isolated, decontextualized forms. Games encourage active engagement, reducing anxiety in language learners and promoting motivations by Reinders and Watana 2015. Number two is game mechanics and language learning. Feedback mechanics in games such as repetition, subtitles, and scaffolding provide reinforcement, improving listening, retention, and learner autonomy by G 2005. Repeated exposure to key vocabulary or structures in different contexts helps learners internalize language pattern naturally. The next is listening proficiency and second language acquisition, or SLA. The cognitive processing and listening comprehension in a second language is a complex cognitive process that involves both bottom-up and top-down strategies. Bottom-up processing focuses on decoding individual sounds, words, and grammatical structures, while top-down processing draws on background knowledge, context, and inferencing to interpret meaning by Phil 2008. The next is the importance of authentic listening input. One of the core principles of effective language acquisition is exposure to authentic and meaningful input. Digital games provide contextualized listening experiences that reflect real-life language use, conversations, instructions, negotiations, and social interaction rather than artificial or scripted classroom dialogue. Next slide, please. Okay. The last is trust effect mechanics in digital games. The first is definition and functionally. The term trust effect in digital game context refers to the way in which system track, reinforce, and build upon a player's previous interactions with auditory input. Rooted in cognitive models such as Atkinson and Shiffrin memory model in 1968. The trace effect suggests that when information is repeatedly encountered, especially through meaningful interaction, it forms stronger memory traces that aid in recall and recognitions. Games like Trust Effect, developed by the U.S. Department of State, embody this concept by integrating spoken dialogues, visual prompts, and mission-based activities that demand listening comprehension as a prerequisite for progressions. As players navigate the narrative, they must accurately interpret spoken English in real time, whether it be following directions, responding to characters, or solving problems based on audio cues. Each interaction is a listening event that contributes to a cumulative learning trace reinforced through both repetition and immediate application. The last is studies on trust effect mechanics in language learning. Empirical research supports the effectiveness of trust mechanics in fostering listening skills. Mayer's cognitive theory of multimedia Learning at 2005 emphasized that when learners interact with multimedia content that aligns auditory and visual elements, they engage in dual-channel processing that enhance memory encoding and retrieval. In digital games, this is evident when learners associate what they hear with what they see and do, forming reinforced connections in memory. Furthermore, Hebbian learning theory in 1949 often summarized as cells that fire together, wire together, provides a neurological basic for the trust effect when learners are exposed to the same auditory input repeatedly, especially in varied and meaningful contexts. Neural pathways associated with sound recognitions and comprehension are strengthened. Next slide, please. Okay, the research methodology will be presented by Agnes.
Thank you, Merdiana. So now we move in research methodology. Our research design in the study, a qualitative methodology was adopted. As part of a qualitative methodology, this study employed case studies and phenomenology. This research aims to understand in depth the experiences and opinions of all informants about the influence of digital games on their listening proficiency. And then our participants are 6 members of the Class C English Department 2022. And then our data collection and our data analysis is researchers must understand qualitative methods, master the theory and insight into the field being studied, and be ready to enter the field, to conduct the research activities and open-ended questionnaire. Next slide, please. Okay. As we can see now, in this page, our finding shows the data that after we collected. I will read this question in bahasa. The first question is, bagaimana pengalaman Anda belajar listening menggunakan permainan trust effects dan apakah menyenangkan? And then the second question is, menurut Anda, bagian mana dari permainan ini yang paling membantu Anda dalam memahami bahasa Inggris secara lisan? And then we have the answer that after we collected. And next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. And then the discussion that we have is the first digital games brings the positive impact to fostering listening proficiency. Learning through games to improve our listening skill has received a positive response from several students in the English education class of 2022. This proves that the trust effect has a good influence on both lay and advanced learners. This is also evidenced by the responses of informants number 1, 2, and 7. Similar things have also been conveyed according by G 2007 and Prensky 2001. Learning through video games can make practicing listening skills feel more like real life, and which helps people improve. Next slide, please. Okay, our second finding, we collected 2 questions. The third question is, apakah terdapat bagian dari permainan ini yang membingungkan saat Anda mendengarkan? Dan mohon dijelaskan. As you can see now, we can read our response from informant. And then the next question is, saat mendengarkan suara atau instruksi dalam permainan, apakah Anda merasa terbantu atau justru merasa kesulitan? Mohon jelaskan alasannya. And then we can also read our response informants. Okay, next slide, please. And then we have and then the discussion that we have is the benefit and obstacle of digital games. In addition to the many benefits offered to students, it turns out that behind all of that there are obstacles for each of them when playing this game. The informant's response in question 3 and 5 stated that they still had difficulty playing the game. For example, the tempo of the conversation between the characters was too fast, so that repetition was needed to make the meaning and topic of the conversation clearer. Then they will encounter some new vocabulary that they hear for the first time. According to Sweller, 1998, this is then in line with the opinion, according to cognitive law theory, learners have a limited capacity for processing information. Through this game, students feel motivated to improve their listening skill more through other digital games. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and then the last, we have last findings. Our findings are collected by 2 questions again. The question is, adakah momen dalam permainan yang memberikan Anda perasaan ternyata saya paham? Kapan momen tersebut terjadi? And then the next question is, setelah beberapa kali memainkan permainan ini, apakah Anda merasakan peningkatan dalam kemampuan listening Anda? Mohon jelaskan perubahan yang Anda rasakan meskipun perubahan tersebut kecil. And also we can read the response, the answer from our respondents. And then next slide, please. Okay, the discussion that we have is stress effect, impact on student listening skills. Based on the question number 9 and 10, each person has their own positive response. They feel there is an improvement after playing the game. Some of the benefits they feel are the renewal of each vocabulary, being more sensitive and knowing the context when people are having a conversation, and increasing self-confidence when speaking. Next slide, please. Okay, I think that's all from me. Now we in the Q&A session. That's all from me. I will give it back to the moderator.
Thank you, Merdiana and Agnes Monica, for that insightful and thought-provoking presentation. Now we'd like to open the section for any questions, comments, or reflection from the audience. So please feel free to raise your hand and mention your name before asking the question.
May I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Although the Trace Effects game claims to increase motivation to learn listening, is this increase long-term or temporary? How can we measure and maintain this motivation after players stop using the game? Okay, that's all.
Right. Any questions?
May I?
Yes, please.
Okay, you guys did such a good presentation and well delivered. I have one question. So, trust effects games may be effective for practicing listening in certain contexts, but how do they prepare players for the variations in accents and speaking rates found in everyday English conversation? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will let the 18 group to answer the question. If you have the question already, if you have the answer already, you can answer.
All right, I will answer Phoebe questions. The question is, trust effect games may be effective for practicing listening in certain contexts, but how do they prepare players for the variations in accents and speaking rates found in everyday English conversations? The answer is, games may have limitations in presenting a wide variety of accent and speaking speeds. To overcome this, you can add a feature that allows players to choose a variety of accents or speaking speeds and use additional materials such as podcasts or videos with different accents. And teachers or tutors provide additional materials in the form of practice questions that have different accents and speaking speeds. And the last is give group assignments where each group presents the result of the discussions using different accents. Thank you.
Okay, and then I want to try to answer Alia question. The question is, although the trust effect game claims to increase motivation to learn listening, is this increase long-term or temporary? How can we measure and maintain this motivation after players stop using the game? The answer is, increased motivation may be temporary if there is no follow-up after using the game. To measure and maintain long-term motivation, it can be done. The first step is regular evaluation using standard listening tasks, and then giving assignment or projects that apply listening skills in real context. And the last is creating a supportive learning environment where students can use the listening skill that have been trained in the trust effect game. Thank you for your questions.
Okay, maybe that's all for the Q&A session for today's. Thank you again to our presenters, and to everyone who participated with such thoughtful questions. I hope this seminar has sparked some reflections on and for the conclusion of this seminar will be presented by Merdiana.
Okay, for the conclusions, while digital games offer significant benefits to students, such as vocabulary acquisitions, enhanced contextual understanding of spoken language, and increased confidence in speaking, they also present notable obstacles. The rapid tempo of in-game dialogues necessitates repeated listening, and the introductions of unfamiliar vocabulary can strain students' cognitive load, aligning with Sweller's cognitive load theory. Despite these challenges, the motivational aspect of digital games encourage students to actively seek further improvement in their listening skills through continued engagement with such platforms. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the group 18. from today's seminar, I hope this can spark some reflection to on how the role of technology can affect the learning process in English education. So we look forward to seeing you